the normal. So I got my GoPro going, my camera going, my mic going, my phone. It's windy, super crappy windy. So I'm having a hell of a time taking pictures today because wind is not your friend with macro photography. But I figured I'd go ahead and go through my setup and kind of my process on how I take pictures to share that in case any of you are curious. Yeah, so the camera body is the 70 Mark II. I've had this for a long, 2 years, 2015, 16, 3 years. I've had a bunch of different cameras too. This is my favorite. When I started, I was all Nikon, and then I switched to Canon. That's a whole story in itself, and that wind is really blowing. But, so I got 70 Mark II. I got the Canon 100mm macro, the L series. Awesome lens. I use this every day. And I got the Yongnuo 24 EX flash. I just got this. My old setup was much more expensive and harder to use. It was like the diffuser was so big that I was just like, I'd be going around and like hitting flowers, and it was just painful to use. So I got this little guy. It was 171 bucks. Way cheaper. My old setup was 600 for the flash, and then the diffuser was 24 bucks, but it was awkward. I could have just got a different diffuser, but this is sweet. You can adjust each flash independently, and you can move them around. You can move them up and down. That's cool. These diffusers, I 3D printed them last night. I have a blog post going over that. And yeah, so it's hard to find diffusers for these. So if you have one of these flashes and you would like some cool 3D printed diffusers that I made, just shoot me a direct message. I can print some for you, or send you the file if you have a 3D printer and you can print them yourself. But yeah, so that's the gear. That's like my go-to as a setup, and it works. You gotta, when you're focusing. But yeah, 1:1, that's your macro. But this is also a versatile lens. You can do portraits, long distance, It's a good telephoto lens. It's a lot versatile, a lot more versatile than like the Canon 65 MPE, and that's 1:1 to 5:1, so 5 times normal size. But that 1:1 is macro range, and that's kind of what I'll leave it locked in at 1:1, and then I'll get up to my subject, and to focus, I'm literally just moving like this, back and forth, because about a millimeter of movement is like the difference between blurry and then focus with shallow depth of field for macro photography. I'll throw up some videos. I was trying to get a bee earlier today, and bees are a pain because they don't stop moving. So you gotta get the focus. That's really hard. It's luck. You kind of gotta fire a few and hope you get it. But that's the way these guys are hard to photograph because they move constantly. Yeah, so that's my main setup. I love this. carry it around in my pocket. I usually have it on me. It's the Raynox 250. I wonder what that does on the GoPro. I'll check that later. But you know, here it actually focuses pretty good, but you can I wonder if I can zoom. Yeah, so you put it it's built for DSLRs, so you would clip that on your lens, and that gives you a little bit of extra magnification. I don't really like it on my DSLR because I have to get like within like an inch of my subject. So if I'm trying to get a dragonfly or a beetle, I gotta get like right in it, and that was really hard with my old setup where I had the giant diffuser, because I couldn't get that close. I couldn't get in there and focus without scaring the bug away or knocking it over. So I kind of quit using this on my lens. It's like special. I'm gonna eyeball it with the GoPro. I don't know if that's working. Go here. I don't know if it'll focus. But yeah, you can. It just lets you. So that's what I've been doing, like with my cell phone. I got my other cell phone. I'll just hold that over the camera, and that lets me, and I just zoom in, and on my Instagram I got quite a few cool videos. Like, I'm really impressed with how well videos turn out when using this in combination with the cell phone. So I'm gonna 3D print a holder or something so I can fit this on there a little better. So, because that's hard. You got this, you're trying to zoom in and then not drop this. So it works. It's cool. I mean, it gives you that magnification, and then when I put it on like my DSLR, it's blurry. The whole lens, you know, you can't do a portrait photography with that stuck on there. So yeah, anyway, that's cool. So gear, then that's called the Raynox 250. I've seen some people, they put it on like a 300 or 400 millimeter telephoto lens, and they've had really good results with it. That's why I got one. I haven't been using it too much other than on my cell phone, so I stick to my Big Daddy setup. And yeah, and that's it for the gear. So, you know, sticking 1:1, and then my flash, I leave that on auto for now. I don't mess with the settings. I'm still getting comfortable with this new flash. And I have it in manual mode, and I usually, since this is a 100 millimeter lens, the slowest I'll have my shutter speed is 1/100th of a second. Otherwise it's too blurry. I'll bump that faster, you know, like 1/200th if I'm trying to get something moving that's like squirmy like a bee. And my ISO, I try to keep that as low as possible so I can get that really good detail in the bug's eyes, because that's what I'm trying to focus. Every bug I take a picture of, I'm trying to get their eyes in focus so you can see all the detail there. And yeah, so ISO, I don't like going over 400. That's the highest I go. 200's a good, just if you're not sure, 200's a good range if you got a flash. If I don't have a flash, I stick it on auto ISO, and sometimes I get some pretty bad pictures, but it works. You know, you don't have to have a flash, but it makes it so much easier. I went years without using a flash, and I've just started doing it now that I've gotten a little more serious into macro photography. But yeah, and then aperture, that's the one you got to pay the most attention to because you got such a shallow depth of field, and you're constrained on how much light you have available. Because usually when you're right up in your subject, your lens and camera is blocking the natural light coming in. So you kind of have to open your aperture up. I start out at 9 if it's really dark. And I'll go, like if I have direct sunlight, I start out at f16. So that's pretty tight. And then from there with this new flash, I've been able to get up to like f32 when my subject's in direct sunlight, which is awesome because you can get pretty much everything, well, a lot of a bug or a flower in focus. So yeah, that's the gear and the settings. The rest is patience. Finding bugs is really easy. You just gotta walk around and start look at flowers. If you don't see any bugs right away, look closer. All my spider shots, I'm just walking around and I'll look at the flowers and I'll look a little closer and be like, hey, is that, oh, it's a spider. And that's cool. So I go sit down, crouch down, and get in focus and start snapping pictures. And I take a lot of pictures. And yeah, so I'll hop on my computer and just go like my dragonfly. I've been trying to get that for a while, to get that in focus, and I had it underexposed quite a bit, but the dragonfly itself was exposed properly, so that works for me. That's like the flash and lighting I had to work with. But I think, yeah, we'll hop into my computer and I'll go through all the different shots because I take a ton of pictures, and I use the metering on the back of the camera. Let's see, right here the arrow is pointing over on this side, so that means it is way underexposed, but it's metering those trees over there. And you can configure your camera to show that in the viewfinder. So I have it over on the right hand side so I can kind of see what my metering's doing. And then I've just gotten real comfortable. I got my aperture control on this wheel and I just move that up and down. That's the thing I play with on the fly. And I always shoot it to where it's a few stops underexposed. Yeah, that's a problem. I've lost a lot of good shots for not being aware of what my exposure should be, so I've been getting a lot better shots paying attention to that. That's bit me in the butt. So it also, if I'm feeling lazy, I'll put it in aperture priority mode and auto ISO and just go from there. But my shots don't turn out as good, so you kind of want to get comfortable with manual. Yeah, so that's the gear. Yeah, I look for bugs every day. I take pictures every day. every day. Today sucks. I'm having a hard time because of the wind, but it's starting to calm down a little, which is awesome. And I'll go get some more pictures. Yeah, and let's see how this will work. Let's try something crazy. So I'll put my little 3D printed MakerBot, and I'll face him to me, and I'll go ahead and take, I'll turn my flash on. Got it 1:1. My flash is really noisy. And beautiful. I'll take these diffusers off and do another one. To show the difference, it's very subtle. But subtle enough, but it's worth, it's good to diffuse your flash, so it's not as harsh, I guess. Yeah, I still gotta tweak these a bit to fit a little better, but I like them. It's pretty sweet. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna kill this for now, and then I'll jump in to my computer. Okay, and we're back inside into Lightroom. So, let's see, on the 8th, I saw this dragonfly. And I was like, oh, cool, maybe I can get a macro shot of him. So, I took a lot of different pictures. Yeah, I was just trying to get close as I could. See right here, the eye isn't quite in focus. Getting better. But yeah, that's that. See right there, you got the detail. That's a pretty good one. But yeah, I took a lot. And then this, I put my Lightroom or Instagram info in there. This was the one I was happy with, and this is the original. So this is right out of camera, what it looked like, and this is the edited version. If we go into develop, I did crop it a bit. I straightened out his head and just made it fill this 4x5. And then that's another fun trick with Instagram is this 4x5 aspect ratio, 8x10. That's what you want to use if you want to really fill up the Instagram, so you can take up the most real estate on someone's cell phone. So your images stand out nice, but yeah. So yeah, I just kept taking pictures and moving closer. I started here and I just kept stepping, step, stayed there, steps. And he was moving around, but I stayed at this ISO 400. F11 the whole way. I think I eventually started switching it up. Because I was worried. Oh, there he's looking up. That's a bummer. Yeah, I was trying to get this eye as super in focus. Like, that was really blurry. Yeah, and then here I switched to shooting vertically. I have a hard time with that. I don't do it too often. I'm starting to more with everything looking good at that 4:5 aspect ratio. But I have a lot harder time focusing and getting it framed right. That's pretty good. I gave it 2 stars. He moved really good there. That one's pretty good. But yeah, these are all raw. I haven't touched them. That's just straight out of the camera. There. I bumped it up to f/22, so it's super dark. I was trying to get more detail in the eye, but that didn't work. Oh, here's this one. That was pretty good. Fuzzy lips. So let's say I want to. That's actually really good. Yeah, I mean, from there, I usually try and fix the exposure if I'm off. This one looks okay, a little underexposed. Like, tweaking the clarity a little bit. Sometimes I'll play with the vibrance just to give it a little more pop. And then I like comparing. But that's good. Then I use the Nik Collection. I really like Define 2. I also have an ultra wide, super huge monitor, so. But yeah, what this does is it just gets rid of noise. It's really awesome at getting rid of noise. If you can. Let's see if I zoom in a little bit more. So, just smooths it out. It works better than Lightroom in my opinion, so that's like my favorite thing to use. Oh yeah. Yeah, the bad thing is, sometimes it takes a little bit of detail out. So you gotta kind of pick and choose. Ideally, you want to get low ISO so you're not having to deal with too much noise. And then Color Effects Pro. Oh, that one's huge. Resize. This is fun. You can get a little out of control on this. And it used to not do this, but there's like artifacts you can see. Those aren't actually there. Like when it's done, they'll go away. So, minor annoyance. So I moved this correct color cast, and it does a really good job at correcting the color. Um, if you don't correct it with white balance, this does a really good job. And then I like really contrasty photos. But you see dynamic, that's like increases your dynamic range really well. I like that up high too. And you can add so many filters. And then I like the detail extractor. And I'll place that on the eye and on his lips. And on that little hand, because the little hand's so awesome. But yeah, it's really hard. It just lightens it up. It brings out some finer details. You see it more. Down here with the hair and the lighting. Yeah, and then sometimes I'll do a second one depending on the image, but I think that's overkill on this guy. Darken, light and center, I use that quite a bit. It's just a real subtle way to put focus on your subject. Real subtle, but you can see a difference. And then I like my glamour glow. It kind of softens the image up. I like to talk. See, it kind of takes that detail extractor is pretty harsh, and then this glamour glow kind of softens it back out, makes it look a little more natural. So we went here and then to this, and then we're going to save it to see what it actually turns into. And there we go. That is my change, so we can view, compare. Oh, there it is. Okay, X, Y, boom. I want to compare you. Nope. There we go. Okay, so it compares right here. So, I didn't get the eye super on this. It's parts. You kind of almost have to do photo stacking, which I'm not great at yet. So I just do what I can with my camera and my lighting, which I prefer that anyway. But yeah, so subtle differences. You can see the eye a little more, and then zoomed out, it's not a whole lot different. But yeah, that's really just my basic edit. And then I'll go ahead and we'll get out of the before and after, and this, they'll just go into the crop, and when I shoot vertical, it's nice. I can do the 4:5, and it lines up nice. We can get in there real tight if you want it. Oh, I'll get his little elbow. And boom. We get that dashing little hand. His hairy chinny chin chin. His nice smile. His big eyes with the weird flare on there. Yeah. And that would be ready to go. I'd upload that to Instagram. So yeah, that's kind of my Lightroom process with the Nik Collection. And yeah, hope you enjoyed that. That's now I gotta splice all of that together, this with the videos from earlier, and trim it all down. And yeah, hit me up with questions or comments and feedback. And I went over everything pretty quick because I'm trying to condense this. But yeah, if you want me to dive deeper in a certain area, let me know. I'd gladly put together a video to go over it. But for now, see ya.